A lot of people, when they think of Shudderwock, think of a disgusting card that should have never been created, and people often look at Shudderwock as the worst designed card when it comes to Hearthstone. What if I told you though you're wrong about Shudderwock? How Shudderwock isn't the most disgusting card ever created, but in fact a really well designed card that enabled a really fun archetype. But before we get into this deeper, let me know what you think of Shudderwock with a comment down below. Now, if you don't know what Shudderwock is, it is a 9-mana 6/6 legendary minion for Shaman that was introduced in the Witchwood that had the battle cry to repeat all other battle cries you've played this game. And that doesn't seem too strong until you realize that when Shudderwock was introduced, there was a card called Serenite Chain Gang and a card called Grumble that could bounce Shudderwock back to your hand in order for you to replay it again and keep the chain going. In other words, Shudderwock Shaman was not a control deck, but more a combo deck that had a lot of slower elements. And compared to OTK Demon Hunter, which just straight up killed you when it had all its combo parts, Shudderwock had to often do multiple Shudderwocks in order to kill you. The combo was as following. First, you would need to play a Life Drinker and a Serenite Chain Gang. The Life Drinker was the damage part of this combo, and the Serenite Chain Gang would guarantee that you summon another Shudderwock because of the summon a copy of this minion battle cry. You also had to play a Grumble to guarantee that one of the copies would get bounced back when Shudderwock was played. All of these cards could be played at whatever time you were capable of playing them, but the turn that you wanted to play Shudderwock, you had to have a Murmuring Elemental in your hand, and it had to get its cost reduced by the Fire Plume Harbinger. And the following turn, you would go Murmuring Elemental into a Shudderwock, so Shudderwock would cast all battle cries cast this game twice, guaranteeing that it would be sent back to your hand so you could do it the following turn. Now, that seems like it's pretty ridiculous, but think about how many awkward cards you have to play in order for this combo to actually work, but you also have to take turns playing extremely awkward cards in order for the combo to end up working. And that's one of the reasons why I think Shudderwock is such a well-designed card, is that it's the accumulation of playing multiple battle cries that on their own don't really do much, but all together make a pretty sweet combo. And as awesome as that combo was, unfortunately for Shaman, it took them a very long time to get, because there's not a lot of draw at the time for Shaman. Just from the class cards, the only real draw potential was Farsight and Manatide Totem. And then the rest of the card draw came from neutral cards, but all the neutral cards like Bloodmage Thalnos, Loot Hoarder, Sandbinder, and Witchwood Piper are just cycle. They just replace the card. You're virtually just drawing an extra card to replace itself. So that meant the combo, even though it was extremely powerful, took a very long time, and it made the deck a little less consistent against aggro type decks. And if we compare Shudderwock Shaman to a combo deck like OTK Demon Hunter, they both basically go for the same end goal, but look how much more streamlined OTK Demon Hunter is because of its actual combo, but more importantly, the amount of draw that OTK Demon Hunter was allowed to play with absurd form of healing. And back before Il'gynoth was nerfed from 4 mana to 6 mana, this combo could be done roughly around turn 7, turn 8 pretty consistently.
Oh, no way, dude. Turn 4. Come on. This is ridiculous. No way. It's turn 4. Come on, dude. Come on, it's turn 4. Alright, it's boring chat still. Look at this, dude.
Where the Shudderwock combo deck took a lot longer to do the exact same end goal. And the benefit of OTK Demon Hunter compared to a combo deck like Shudderwock is redundancy. OTK Demon Hunter had the privilege, because of how efficient of a deck it was, to run multiple combo pieces in their deck. But here's the thing about Shudderwock. A lot of people associate Shudderwock when he was first released when the animation times were just out of control.
Wake me up when it's done, chat. Blizzard, you should have seen this coming, right?
6.5 hours later.
Told you you're gonna get banned. Look. I don't think it's... The last time I was banned, it's because it was an exploit. This is just using a card Blizzard gave us.
And I completely agree. The animations at this point in time were just disgusting, and no player should have to sit there and watch animations again and again and again. And before that went on for too much longer, Blizzard did come in and make it so that the animations time wouldn't take as long, and Shudderwock was at a cap of 20 battle cries. So other than the insane amount of animations it would take at the initial release of Shudderwock seems like a pretty tame card with a lot of benefits to have in an archetype. Not only did Shaman get a new form of combo deck, but they got a combo deck that required a lot of time and setup in order for you to actually reach that combo. But not only that, Shaman was enabled for competitive play the entire time Shudderwock was in standard because the card set up a really powerful archetype. Shudderwock was also a blueprint for some of the most powerful and popular cards that we see today in Hearthstone. Some really good examples of this are the Hero Power Mage with Mordresh and the Fell Demon Hunter with Jace Darkweaver. Both of these decks have an interesting play pattern of playing these pretty weird cards in order for you to have a huge payoff with their legendary. Mordresh requires you to deal damage with your hero power, which requires the mage deck to run Wildfire, Reckless Apprentice, and potentially more cards to meet that condition. Jace is the exact same thing, where it requires you to play a bunch of Fell spells in order for your Jace Darkweaver to actually do something, just like Shudderwock. There was also Zul'jin from Rastakhan's Rumble, which was a really cool idea for Hunter that was virtually the same effect as Shudderwock that created a brand new archetype for the class. The thing about Shudderwock that a lot of people don't consider is that the card itself is strong enough to birth an archetype like Reno Jackson was. So you can print a bunch of new interesting cards for new exciting archetypes in different expansions that also fit under the Shudderwock archetype as well. And that's really cool that one card on its own can make a brand new archetype. I'm also not saying that Shudderwock is not a really good card, because it is a really good card. There's a whole reason why a deck was created under this one card, because Shudderwock is really good. But Shudderwock gets a worse rap than a lot of cards because the last thing people often see before they lost against the deck, well, was Shudderwock. It's kind of like Leroy Jenkins in a sense, where a lot of people hated Leroy Jenkins because that was the last thing they would see before they would lose the game, making them think that, well, Leroy Jenkins was the biggest problem of the deck, but forget about everything else that led up to the moment where Leroy Jenkins can actually kill you. So to sum this whole video up, Shudderwock as a card is not broken, it's not disgusting, it was only looked down upon because the amount of animations and the time it would take into actually end up killing you. Shudderwock was the blueprint for multiple decks that we see today in the standard format, and is still around in Wild because the card is a really well-designed card that sets up a brand new archetype in both of the formats. But this is just my opinion, and if you disagree, I would love to see why with a comment down below. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe because a lot of you guys aren't, and if you made it through this whole video, I'm sure you enjoyed the channel. Keep being awesome, you look fantastic, and I'll see you in the next one.